Good morning, dear students. This is Visram Singh Meena, Assistant Professor English, working at Government College, Karoli. As you know, through online mode, we are studying English literature. In this sequence, today we are going to study the poem Lucifer in Hell, Part 2nd. Lucifer in Hell is an extract of the great epic entitled Paradise Lost in 1667, written by John Milton. And today we will continue the poem. They are the companions of his fall, overwhelmed. They are the companions of his fall, overwhelmed with floods and whirlwinds of tempestuous fire. He soon descends, and weltering by his side, one next himself in power and next in crime. The poet is giving the portraiture of the situation where Lucifer with Beelzebub is lying. They have been fallen from heaven because they have done disobedience to God, and God has punished these two. They are the companions of his fall. Means Lucifer's company, Lucifer's companions who were with him in crime, with him in doing disobedience against the will of God. They are the companions of his fall, overwhelmed, they are confused, they are confounded. What is happening around them? With floods and whirlwinds of tempestuous fire. That is the scene where floods and whirlwinds of the fire of hell is pervaded, and the tempest means a strong wind, that we can say gale, is blowing in whirlwinds, and it shows their confusion, it shows their mental situation they are facing now. He soon descends. He for Lucifer. Lucifer descends means sees, and weltering by his side, he sees that Beelzebub, who is rolling, weltering means rolling by his side, beside him, who is Beelzebub now, one next himself in power and next in crime. He was the next to come in power and post, and so was the case in crime to Lucifer. Lucifer's friend, Lucifer's companion angel, Beelzebub. Beelzebub was the partner of his crime However, he was powerful as far as the power and post of Beelzebub is concerned. He was next to Saturn, next to Lucifer. Long after known in Palestine and named Beelzebub. That is the introduction to Beelzebub. He was known in Palestine. Palestine, the place of the Jews or the country of the Jews. But here means heaven. He was known as Beelzebub. Now he has become the enemy to God because he has disobeyed the will of God with Lucifer. So he is accomplice in crime. To whom the arch enemy and thence in heaven called Satan, with bold words breaking the whole silence, thus began, if thou beest he, but oh, how fallen, how changed. Now the poet gives an account of Lucifer, who has been discarded, who has been dispelled from heaven, and now these two, Lucifer and Beelzebub, are in hell. He is the arch enemy to God, and thence in heaven called Satan, and that's why he was renamed in heaven as Satan, because he was the first to disobey the will of God. With bold words breaking the whole silence, there was a court of God in which Lucifer and Beelzebub and other angels were sitting. God broke the horrid silence of the place. Horrid means terrible silence of the court, saying in bold words that gave the name of the Satan to Lucifer. If thou beest he, if thou means you, beest means are, if you are he, but oh, how fallen, how changed. Now the poet says that Lucifer has not been changed in physical form, but the mental power and position, dignity of the angel has been completely changed, because he has been fallen from heaven and living here in hell. So that is the case of position and power. These two have gone from the personality of Lucifer. With Lucifer, Beelzebub, his companion, also faced the same problem. From him who in the happy realms of light, clothed with transcendent brightness, didst outshine myriads, the bright, if he whom mutual league, united thoughts and counsels, equal hope had and hazard in the glorious enterprise, joined with me once, now misery hath joined in equal ruin. Lucifer is the speaker throughout the poem. We know that the poem has been written in blank verse. Lucifer sees Beelzebub lying flat beside him he finds that from him who in the happy realms of light, clothed with transcendent brightness. Now he is thinking over the power he was enjoying in heaven, but now he has been drained of that power from him who in the happy realms of light. The happy realms of light means the happiness of heaven. Light means here heaven, clothed with transcendent brightness. He, he was enjoying, clothed with means he was with transcendent. Transcendent means superior or supermost brightness, or the angelic light around his head, which he was enjoying in heaven. Now that brightness has gone. Didst outshine myriads, and he was the angel who used to sign, used to outshine myriads. Myriads means multitudes of angels. He was quite different. He was uh, equally powerful to God. Now that power and dignity imposed has been drained. Though bright, however, he is bright now. Physically, there is no change in Lucifer and Beelzebub, but their dignity, their respect have gone because they have lost the battle against God. If he whom mutually united thoughts and counsels, equal hope and hazard in the glorious enterprise, joined with me once. Now Lucifer is admiring the help of Beelzebub in his crime. He is very sad to know that due to his disobedience, he has to face this kind of situation in which they are in hell. If he whom mutually, because there was a mutual understanding, league means association, mutual means interpersonal, they were fast companions, and they did this rebel or rebellious act against the will of God with mutual understanding, united thoughts and counsels. Counsels means advice, and thoughts which were united means they agreed to the same proposal of doing rebel against the will of God. So they were equally accomplished in this matter. They were the partners in the same crime equally. If he who if he whom mutually united thoughts and counsels, equal hope and hazard in the glorious enterprise. The glorious enterprise means the war against God. It was glorious because they were fighting against the superpower of the universe. So it was enterprising action to take. Equal hope and hazard. Hazard means danger. They are facing now. Joined with me once. Lucifer is giving an account of the plan, the war against the will of God, how they conspired, how they agreed to the same proposal of doing the war against God. So he is praising his friend, his companion, Beelzebub, that he cooperated him with heart and mind. They are equally responsible for this battle against the will of God. Joined with me once, now misery hath joined in equal ruin. But he was with Lucifer in his happiness and in his sadness, both alike. Now misery hath joined, hath an archaic word, that means has. Now misery hath joined in equal ruin. Into what wit thou seest. Now Lucifer sees, Lucifer looks that they have been fallen. Thou means you. The, into what pit thou seest, from what height fallen. No, he is surprised to see that from where they have been fallen. The distance is very vast. So much the stronger proved he with his thunder. And till then, who knew the force of those dire arms? Now, Lucifer is giving respect to God, and he says that who knew the power of God before this battle, before this war against him. So he was the first one who opposed, who challenged God. Otherwise, no one was so strong in the multitudes of angels in heaven. He was the first one who tried to judge, tried to know the power of God. However, he knew it very well that God was very powerful. He was with dire arms. Dire arms means fearful and frightening weapons. God is the superpower. God is most powerful in the world. He with his thunder, and till then who knew the force of those dire arms? Yet not for those, nor what the potent victor in his race can ills inflict. Do I repent or change, to changed in outward luster, that fixed mind and high disdain from sins of injured merit, that with the mightiest raised me to content. Yet not for those, nor what the potent victor. The potent victor here, potent means who has power, who is very strong. Victor means winner in his race. Race means wrath, anger. God was powerful victor, powerful winner of the universe, but Lucifer had to face the anger of that powerful winner, that powerful victor. Can else inflict, do I repent or change? To change an outward luster. Lucifer says that he has nothing to repent because he has lost the battle, but after having lost the battle against God, he has learned, he has judged the power of God. So he is the only angel who has weighed the power of God. who had the courage. However, he has lost the battle. It doesn't matter, but he did the thing he wanted to, because accept he did not accept the injustice which was done to him, because he was the next in power, but the son of God, who was a scholar, who was younger, was given the more power in comparison of Lucifer. That was the very cause of fighting, or very cause of dissatisfaction in the mind of Lucifer. Nor what the potent victor in his race can else inflict. Inflict means to give, or to give trouble. Can else inflict, do I repent or change? To change an outward luster, that fixed mind, and high disdain from sense of injured merit, that with the mightiest raised me to content. And now Lucifer is giving the reason why he did disobedience, or did go against the will of God. Though changed in outward luster, he has been changed in outward luster. Luster means brightness, because he has been snatched away from the luster, from the brightness of the angel, because now he has been fallen to hell. And though changed in outward luster, that fixed mind and high disdain from sense of injured merit. Injured means wounded merit. Merit means past. Power, dignity of Lucifer has been decreased now. But it doesn't matter for him. He has high disdain, high hate towards God, because God has done injustice to him. That with the mightiest raised me to content. Mightiest for God raised me to content. Lucifer was worthy of getting promotion first, but the Creator, but the mightiest means the most powerful God, gave the same post and dignity to the lower order or lower powered angel. That was the reason which raised the high disdain, high hate to God in the mind of Lucifer. And it was the reason he had to contend, he had to struggle, he had to do battle against the will of God. There is the reference of the promotion of the lower order angel before Lucifer. That injured means wounded the merit, wounded the dignity and post of Lucifer. And to the fierce contention brought along innumerable force of spirits armed, that durst dislike his reign, and me, preferring his utmost power with adverse power, opposed indeed this battle on the plains of heaven. Lucifer gives an account of his disobedience and the cause of that disobedience towards God. Not what and to the fierce contention. Fierce means fearful. Contents means fight, battle. Brought along innumerable force of the spirits, armed. There were the force, there were the multitudes, there were the soldiers of God who were with armed. Armed means who were with weapons. They were innumerable. Innumerable means uncountable. We can count the number of the soldiers of God because they are innumerable in number and they are armed. They are having weapons. And to the fierce contention brought along innumerable force of spirits armed, that durst dislike his way, that durst, that did dare, means had the courage to dislike his reign, dislike his kingdom, dislike his rule in heaven. Me preferring, they preferred, or they made Lucifer the leader of the opposition. So there were innumerable or uncountable number of soldiers, number of angels who were against the will of God, but they had no courage. They encouraged Lucifer to become the leader of the opposition. That durst dislike his reign, and me preferring his utmost power, with adverse power opposed. Lucifer knows that the power of God was utmost. And utmost means supermost. God can never lose the battle. But knowing that Lucifer became the leader of the opposition, he did the job of being the leader of the angels who were against the will of God. His utmost power with adverse power opposed in dubious battle on the plains of heaven. Plains means the fields of heaven, where this battle was fought, which was dubious. Dubious means doubtful battle, because Lucifer knew it very well that he will not be able to win against God. God is the most powerful, but he did oppose. He did take the opposition against him. So he judged the power of God by doing so. So we can find here that Lucifer is judging himself right, and he says that Beelzebub and other angels who were with him during his thick and thin, they are also praiseworthy because they opposed the injustice done by God. However, God was a superpower. No one or none had dared to oppose the will of God, but they did. So that is the end of the poem. Thank you and have a nice day.